Okay, hello everyone. A very good evening. We are back with a live on Facebook after a long time because usually it's the youth who we interact with and they are the most active on Instagram. So that's where we've been having these live sessions. But today we have someone very interesting and she's a guide at CoVersity. That's one aspect. I say she's very interesting. It's very interesting to have this conversation with her because she's kind of at the intersection of four very interesting areas when it comes to youth. So we have with us Rekha. Hi, Rekha.
Hi Kirtika, hi everyone.
Yeah, so Rekha, in her previous professional avatar, has been a counselor for the youth. This was until the pandemic. After that, she's been on an open learning journey of facilitating her teenage boys, two teenage boys. She's also counseling parents on, kind of their parenting journey, and she is a guide for teenagers at CoVersity. So there's a lot of mix there when it comes to you, their parents, their personal life, professional life. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation with Rekha. So yes, Rekha, maybe we start the before we dive into the conversation right away. Let me share about a bit about CoVersity. What is CoVersity, right? This is a space for youth to come together, youth who are between 13 to 21, for them to come together as a cohort, deep dive in their domains and multiple interests, and do very industry specific work, take up internships, do client projects, apprenticeship, volunteering, and discover what is interesting to them and make a profession out of it. So having shared that, let's move on to see what Rekha has to share. Maybe Rekha, share a bit about this whole journey of yours, dabbling in so many areas related to youth and their professional journeys, personal journeys. Share a bit about what has that been like for you.
Thanks Kritika for introducing me, giving so elaborate introduction. yeah, what I would say is it has been a interesting journey to from a parent, confused parent, to getting into counseling, and
Mm.
I was lucky enough to get into a college where it was 11th and 12th graders college. So I dealt with very similar age group of kids.
Hmm.
So it was an eye opener when I started counseling and being a part of their life. It was an eye opener of how they think, uh,
Hmm.
which, which I also have done, but I had through the years I had forgotten that, and it was a reminder for me. Okay, we are we all sail in the same boat. Adults and youth or children, they are not, their thought process are not different. It
Hmm.
does have similarities. It does have this confusions are very similar. All that, it was an eye opener for me. So that did help me with my own parenting journey also. And of course, I can't forget without mentioning Jagrati here.
Ah,
Uh,
right.
that was a huge. Every this thing is, I guess, aha moment there. Even with counseling, Jagrati, and then into open learning. Yes,
Hmm.
open learning. Jumping into open learning with my kids after I did counsel adolescents for almost 6 years was
Hmm.
a game changer to understand them and create that space of where they are understood. At least they felt understood. Not every time, maybe at least once in a while, because they are open enough to share their fears, their expectations.
Right.
So It did help me, and somewhere along the journey of counseling, I did learn that it is not the children, it is we adults, the parents who need the counseling. Kids are absolutely fine with their thought process, with the generation that they are in, with the kind of technology that they are in. They know very well where they stand. But
Mm-hmm.
we as parents, we come from our own inhibitions about a lot of things. So to
Mm.
let go of that and create that dance or dynamic between the child and the parent is a thing that we need to learn.
Ah. Right, right, right. Absolutely. You brought in a very interesting aspect that, yes, they are learning from us, but they have their own mechanisms, their own ways of learning, coping, dealing, all those things, right? Which is what Jagriti also kind of very, strongly emphasizes on. Like, they lead their own journeys. We are part of
Yes.
it, but ultimately they are the ones who are going to be leading. And okay, so now we've got a fair idea about the various areas you've dabbled in, and let's come to this whole aspect of being a guide at CoVersity. Now, for the ones who have joined us newly and are not aware, at CoVersity, every parent, the parents also become guides. They become guides to the entire cohort. So they are not just guiding their own children. In fact, they perform the role of a guide to the entire cohort. Now that's a very interesting dynamic proposition. We'll come to that shortly. Rekha is coming in. She's not a parent of a CoVersity member, but she comes in from the role of a facilitator, and with the immense value that she adds, from all the experience that she's had. Rekha, let's go a bit into the whole aspect of guides, because you've been part of this for the last 3 months. Uh, we start with, we become a cohort of guides as well, right? Because all the parents are there, facilitators like you, me are also part of the equation. So suddenly there's parents of 7 children, 7 teenagers, not children, sorry, and four, five, three, four facilitators. So it's what a good, uh, you know, 12 to 15 people of us who are a cohort in ourselves. And when we started this journey, there were no set guidelines for us, right? We were not told that we have to guide this way or this is what we co-created our own journeys as a guide, where we set the guidelines. We kind of discussed between us, how are we going to add value to these teenagers journey. So maybe you want to kind of share with the audiences a bit about how that experience was for you as an individual, as an adult, and maybe take us through a bit into how that journey of us deciding between ourselves, also consulting the teenagers, hey, where do you need our support, right? That was also part of the deal. So it was a lot of co-creation happening over the last 3 months. So give us your thoughts on that aspect.
Yeah. It was an interesting journey because I guess all of us entered with no idea what a guide is. What should we do? Uh, so, and I guess cohorts are also in the same space. What is it this about? How will the guides add value to us? All that
Mm,
the thing was there. I guess we had 3 sessions, right? About deciding on what is our guidelines, what are our guidelines, where can we add value, what all topics come under adding value, all that. It was a 3 sessions. I guess almost a 3 hour session of
yeah.
deciding how to go about this, how where all to do it, all that. It was interesting because the brainstorming, because we all come from different fields
Mm,
and our
mm,
experience those are different. Each of us came from our own experiences and added to that list. uh, it was a lovely this thing to see how it all came together, and then providing that list to the cohorts and asking them what is that they value in these
right.
things, gave us an idea of where, as a cohort, where they stand, as a guide, where can I stand,
Mm, mm, mm,
and also where all I need to add value to my own life in those guidelines, because I don't know everything, right?
mm, mm, mm. Absolutely, absolutely. Very interestingly, as you were saying, in a way, we were all of us were, checking where are we in our journeys, right? We are checking, oh, where is cohort in their journey? At the same time, there's a, back of mind, boys, hey, where am I in this journey? So it's not just us guiding them; it's also kind of aligning, or just checking where are we in our journeys. And that was
Yes.
very deep for me personally. And I can see that you also echoed the same sentiments. Absolutely. And I remember one part of the responsibilities when we were kind of listing down, um was also like, where do we step out, you know are we coming from a position of providing solutions, or are we there to help them help themselves? This would be a recurring thought through all our conversations and meetings and discussions, right? We are not providing solutions. I mean, I think all of us agreed on it, and there was, over the course of the 3 months, there was a conscious decision to kind of see, am I constantly just providing solutions, or are we empowering them to find their own solutions? uh, Maybe share a few thoughts on those.
Uh, yeah. Yes, there is always, I guess, even after having that conversation every time, there is always that doubt, am I giving in too much, or am I holding too much back by not supporting them, kind of yeah, that confusion will always be there.
Right, right.
Every conversation, that kind of confusion will always be there. I have asked my cohort time and again, where is it that I can add value? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Again, we both have come to a conclusion. I guess it is a dynamic process. We have to figure out
And that's
what
the
works for
beauty.
us.
Right.
There is no set idea of where to add value, where I can step back, all that. Uh, as time passes, and as we understand each other, the cohort
Hmm.
and the guides, it becomes more easier.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There's no, again, what we've all, I mean, there's no gyan in this, but this has been our experience over the last 3 months, that there is no one set rule that can be, adhered to at all times, or certain times you have to be flexible and see, if you want to really step in, or certain times you're like, hey, let them figure out. So yes, lot of juggling between the guides as well.
Yeah.
And I remember one thing, like even you have been mentioning that you would go back to the cohort and consult them, which is again a very Jagrati thing. Consult the consultant, as in
Consultant.
the teenagers are consultant themselves. So and especially so when it's about their life, right? So uh, they have the top priority to see how they want to receive our value in their lives, in their journeys. And I remember very strongly the cohort came back saying, we don't want your help. I distinctly remember those lines in one of the conversations in one of our meetings, where the cohort said, we want you to add value but not give us solutions. I mean, they were very clear, and that was very interesting to see. That break so many myths about children or youth, that they cannot lead their journeys, or they need a lot of guidance. Yes, they do need some expansion in terms of where we can value add. But I was amazed to see how they Rekha, are you there?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Hi. Sorry, some power outage at my end.
Okay, okay, no
Um,
problem. I thought so.
yeah. Yes, I'm just checking whether my internet connection is okay. Yeah, looks fine. Okay. Yeah. So somewhere we realized over the course of
Yeah. Kritika, you're breaking.
that
The voice is breaking.
they are very well capable of leading their journeys. Yes, of course they need assistance, and we'll see where all we could add value in their journey. But before we start into the value addition, um, oh, okay, give me a moment. Can you hear me, Rekha?
Yeah, now it's a little better.
Okay, let me try switching on my camera and see. Is it still better?
Yeah, now it seems better at least. Talk
Okay.
more.
Okay. Yeah, we'll continue the conversation. Let me know if,
Okay.
there's some breaking between. Yeah, hopefully it should be fine.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi has been connected. So, yeah, so somewhere,
Okay.
as we get into the whole value addition bit, right? Where can we add value as guides? Somewhere all of us were very clear that it's a self-directed journey. CoVersity is a self-directed journey, and each individual designs their own journey, designs their own roadmaps, their ways of planning, you know, what's their style of learning. Of course, there are solid processes in terms of how they do their planning, reflecting, tracking progress. All those things are there, but it's very flexible and customized to how each individual wants to do it for themselves, right? There's no one size fits all approach. So we are not meddling with their vision. Like if they have a certain vision, we don't meddle with that. But in terms of whatever plans they have laid out, we come in to expand their perspectives, right? So maybe you would want to kind of share some thoughts or some anecdotes from how we add value, where we are not kind of deciding for them, but in a way, as we said, empowering them to decide for themselves, help themselves. Share a bit about those.
What I would say is adding value to empower themselves would be the best way that I have found is questioning.
Hmm.
Uh, Questioning to understand them, to understand where they stand and what do they want to do about it. During the course, usually they give out words like motivation. I'm not motivated today. I don't feel motivated. I feel like I'm dragging myself, all that. So to understand those motivation, I'm not productive, all those keywords, if you can gauge those keywords and ask them more questions on those, what are their beliefs about all that. So
Hmm.
automatically, I don't think they are looking for a solution, as you mentioned that they did mention that, right? We don't want solutions. I don't. We don't want you guys to give us ideas, give us solutions, all that. It's just expanding their thinking process. What
Hmm.
I would
Hmm.
say
Hmm.
is the metaphor, the great metaphor that I can say, they are already in the traffic jam. If I keep on as a passenger, if I keep on telling, oh, there's the place there, there's a place there, they'll go crazy. So somewhere I need to shut that mouth and uh, help them see that bigger picture. Maybe a
Hmm.
bird's eye view. When I see in the traffic jam, I won't be able to see where I am stuck, right? But having a bird's eye view would have helped, which the GPS does now for us.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that bird's eye view, giving them that bird's eye view of what they have been doing, how they have been doing till now, and what
Hmm.
does
Hmm.
each of those keywords that they are using to describe their confusion at that point mean to
Hmm.
them. Somewhere they know what to do.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely, Rekha. And I also feel one of the ways that I have understood is, like, one is listening more than us talking. It's us listening, as you rightly said, questioning and listening to what they are sharing, because there's a lot that goes into those communications, right? Into those conversations. It's not just those words, but how they're sounding, what are the words, as you said, they're using the keywords. These tell a lot about where they are mentally, from a peer perspective, from their own skill perspective. A lot of understanding comes from that. And patience, as you said, like they are in their own traffic jam, and uh, we can't be pushing them to reach a certain place that we want them to reach. And I would just like to share this with the audience as well, that that's the core essence of coversity, for them to discover their interests or passion. And how does that happen? When we give them that time and space to kind of really go deep, and this going deep is going to bring along a lot of discomfort, because that is the place, that is the space where they are growing. They are trying to find new ways about a particular domain, new ways and new things about their own self. So there's a lot of things they're dealing with. And this is where we as guides come in, to give them the support that they need to go on a deep diving journey like this. Rekha, you want to bring in the aspect of, sometimes it's just the emotional support you provide. And yes, as parents, so we expect key parents will support. Like as a youth, we know parents are going to support their own children. That's a given. Sometimes it works very contrary. We come to that later. But when, as a guide, you offer that support, and maybe you want to share those anecdotes when you're just on a call with one of them, and how that whole thing pans out. You just listening to them, and sometimes it's just going, everything's going haywire. What are those days like?
I would say it is just listening, because they want someone to listen to them, their confusions.
Hmm.
So, and if I feel I don't know where I can add value, I have asked, what is it that you need from me?
Hmm. Yeah.
So, so asking them where do they want to go, that I know I am giving the emotional support, but beyond this, if they need something, it's better to ask them, right? Because they know where do they want, what is their next step. They would have already decided. Just that
Hmm.
confusion
Hmm.
in between that first step one and step two is what is keeping them back.
Right, right, right. Yeah, Rekha, I'm just going to like add a twist to this whole statement that you made. See, sometimes we ask them and they say a certain thing, but there's also this adult in us saying ki they are thinking like this, but we want them to think like this, some other way. Then what is the, what's been your experience like when the adult in you is thinking, hey, this is not where you should be headed? So are we also kind of telling them, again, just we're not trying to help them skip the pit stops, but sometimes it's also saying there could be this pit. Just that guidance also makes a lot of difference. So while we are not maneuvering their journey, but just kind of from where we come from, our experiences, maybe help them see a bit
Yes.
into where they might be headed. So
If
maybe.
that does come and you have an experience, share that story.
Hmm. Hmm.
No advice as such, but sharing that story, because it does feel very similar, where they would have stuck and you would have felt stuck at some point in life, kind of right? So sharing that story might help.
Hmm. 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 Right. Right. Absolutely. And it's a very
Sharing that
different colleague
experience.
then.
Yeah.
Right. So we kind of touched upon, so we saw that, beyond just like even for parents who have teenagers, and who are kind of going through this whole, I mean, this is a phase where the entire family is on toes, right? Because what are they going to settle into? What's going to be the profession? These are the conversations. And it's also a phase of a lot of chaos for many. For some, it's even if they're clear, they're kind of navigating the whole space. But for many who are not sure, who are still kind of in that dilemma of which one should become my profession, I think what I'm hearing from you is there's a lot that parents can add to the teenager's journey beyond just the logistical offerings, which of course is there. We are providing those logistical support in terms of getting resources, sharing networks, contacts, all those things are there. But and tracking where they are in their journey, those things too we all know. But giving the emotional support, consulting them, to see um, where are they and what is it that they need, and empowering them to find their own solutions and own, not just solutions, their own way to lead their journey. I think that's like the cherry on the cake for me. When we do that, when we are in a position as a family to kind of support our teenagers and empower them to kind of take charge of their lives, because ultimately that's what the final aim is, right? They take charge. Of course the journey is going to be not very smooth all the times. There's going to be ups and downs, but how they respond in their own ways, I think that's where as families we come in with the support in terms of in sometimes just withholding ourselves to let them make those mistakes, if at all we view them as mistakes. Maybe not mistakes for them, learning experiences for them. So yes, by shifting some perspectives here and there, we can add a lot of value to their journey. um, Okay, Rekha, now let's come to one of the other concerns that a lot of parents come to us with, right? So, this is also a phase where they are exploring, because uh, there is, like, they want to understand what their profession is, passion is. This whole thing is going around. So many a times, not all youth are very clear, so they're dabbling in multiple domains, and parents get very frenzied that, I don't understand all these domains, so where do I come in, like, right? Do really, do as parents, do we need to be domain experts and be very clued into what the child's domain is and what their interests are, and if it's constantly changing and triggering us, maybe share those aspects, maybe from a perspective of you being a parent to teenage boys as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very alive situation for me because at home, it's some my elder one is into theater, painting, all that, which I have no idea about, design, everything, which I
Mm.
have zero knowledge about. And we
Mm.
have talked about this also. Whatever he says is what I get. Beyond
Mm.
that, the words sometimes that he uses also are new to me. So to understand, I need to sit and ask him more questions on what is he actually talking, all that. But at the same time, the juggling between my own backstory, which is going on behind. Oh, this guy last year he was in this, he was telling this year, the few months later he's been into this, all that backstory goes on. uh,
Mm.
Somewhere when I'm not conscious, it does come out also. And
Mm.
there are times that he has reminded me, Mama, this is your backstory, kind of a way. I guess again this is a dynamic process where understanding myself, where am I coming from,
Mm.
taking
Mm.
a pause to see where am I coming from, and asking him questions to understand where you are, and
Mm.
the dynamics of fighting, the dynamics of okay, I'm confused, I don't know, these are my fears, sharing my fears with him.
Mm. 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 Mm.
So somewhere that understanding, building of understanding as and when things come up.
Mm. Mm. Yes, I very distinctly remember when we were starting out initially as guides to the cohort. This was a very big fear in my head, like, right? Like, I don't know everything about everything. Where am I going to add value? And it was a very pressing issue in my head, because we feel the value addition is only in terms of the domain, skills, professional aspects. If they are in some domain where I don't have any contacts, how will I reach out? I mean, how will I provide that to my children, to the children, or to the youth? I had these big monstrous fears in my head, and over the course of 3 months, this is what I've realized, that uh, somewhere where what we've been talking along, that uh, they are very capable of figuring out their own ways of doing things, right? Yes, sometimes they do need support, and that is where the whole aspect of us as a cohort of guides, right, comes in play. Like, suddenly there's not just me as one family supporting my child, right? Suddenly there's a whole mini community in itself, and then you have a bigger community of Aarohi, which has, so many families connected. uh, uh, oh god, okay, give me a moment, I think my battery is going. It's a weird day for me. 1 second. Yeah. Uh, yes, so all those things did play with my head as well. But we've seen they have their own ways of figuring out their, way to get contacts. And recently it's been, they were supposed to get, I mean, they were in this whole industry exposure phase where they have to go find out internships all by themselves. And I very clearly remember that uh, initially we said we are not going to come in, find your own ways, of getting people, reaching out to people, and they had their own ways to kind of, we kind of threw them into water. Now kind of, find your way out. Eventually some, most of them did find their ways. Some places we had to chip in, but that's where, when we are as a community, suddenly it's not just you in isolation, trying to do the whole figuring out thing. You have the support of so many families, and especially the families at coversity, you're even more closely knit, right? You meet every week, everyone knows what the other family is going through, and there is a kind of a understanding between each other. And of course there's a larger community to help you with, so many different ways. So you want to share in those aspects of how a community really helps in this journey.
Oh, I guess the having the community is basically giving you that assurance that, yeah, I have something to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about getting solutions or getting an internship in terms of cohorts getting an internship. It's not about getting an internship, someone providing you that internship on the platter. But
Mm-hmm.
since it's a community of so many families, through few contacts, okay, someone heard some internship is out here. Do you want to give it a try? Like that, things come up, and the energy is there. Energy is not totally damped down with, oh, there are no wherever I go I have been rejected, kind of that feeling changes, right? Oh,
Right,
if not here, there are three more places where I can reach out to.
right, right,
Because
right.
of that, the cohorts also don't lose their hope of okay, if I did not get it here, because we are listening to those interview stories, right? In the Discord, we are reading it, and it is very, I would say, energizing me to read it. Oh, yeah, this is happening.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember, so see, one thing is, yes, there are so many ways to find out. The other thing is, I have not got somewhere, anywhere. Like, I'm being rejected everywhere. Like, I remember the first few weeks they were reaching out. They were in, a lot of dejection, that, but there was also a thing that, along with me, two three more people have not got anywhere, so they had their own circle of, sharing their sagas, and all that drama was happening. So yeah, as you rightly said, just that, I think it starts with the cohort, then it starts with the other families at coversity, and then it's the, whole
Bigger
community.
community comes
That's
in.
how I see these circles of support that
Yes.
really kind of, give you that support at each and every junction, and each entity plays its role at different junctures. At a very intimate level, it's the cohort, it's a bunch of youth, and they understand themselves the best. Like, as guides we can try our best, but it is only between them that they really connect. And then we come in as parents, facilitators, and yeah, okay, I think somewhere we've covered a lot. Maybe just before going, Rekha, while you have your own children who you're facilitating, and having your own journey, but what is it like to facilitate someone at coversity? So for each guide there is one cohort member assigned. Obviously it can't be a parent child combo. So Rekha has Srijani, who she, very, so Rekha kind of is very closely connected to how Srijani has been doing over the course of 3 months, and now her industry phase. So it's like that pairing. So when you're facilitating or being with someone who's not your child, tell us about that dynamic.
When you first put this question out, I had my own confusion. How do I do it? Yes, dynamics are absolutely different because of the physical space.
Hmm.
Because with kids, I am in the same physical space. I watch them daily. What is happening? What is not happening? The sharing of planning, reflection, all those happens together. Here, with myself and Srijani, we are in totally different physical spaces. I get to understand what she is doing, how she is doing, all that only by talking over phone or through Discord, where sharing happens. But I guess not much of a difference is there with facilitating part.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Um, because somewhere facilitation happens only when I am conscious. When I'm unconscious, facilitation doesn't happen. It is purely giving up solutions for them, or answers for them. So if you are in particular facilitation, I need to be involved. I need to know where she comes from. I need to know where I am standing. All that dynamics has to be there.
Hmm.
But yes, dynamics are different. I don't know if I can put it in words, how different it is with my child and with the cohort that I am
Hmm.
guiding.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. So what I
but that
mean to say
involvement
is,
is there. Involvement
huh,
has to be there. That emotional connect has to be there. Only then, I guess, we both can see where each other of us are standing
hmm.
in a
Hmm. Hmm.
conversation, or when she also reaches to me out. Okay, this is where I stand. Can you help me out? Kind of a. I guess
Right.
that
Right.
emotional connect has to be there.
Right.
Involvement, emotional connect has to be there, and but
And it does
facilitation
build
has
over
to.
time.
Yes.
Yes, yes. But I'm also thinking like there is a certain interplay, right? Like somewhere you're here, you're a facilitator to a teenager, and then as a parent, it also, I'm assuming it's also kind of, you know, impacting the way you're connecting with your child because, like, while they're all in the same boat, but suddenly it's not your child anymore, and then you look at so many other perspectives because with a parent it comes with a baggage, no matter what, that baggage does happen to be there. So this whole interplay, how does it impact your parenting and all those things? Maybe if you want to share a bit about those.
Oh, yes. I guess this has been alive for me for the past, from the time I have been counseling. That
Hmm.
does interplay because everything is interconnected, right? Those reflections where what I have had, the talks that I have had with Srijani, and those reflections, if I reflect on those talks and the talks that I have with my own kids during my questioning or planning or reflecting, all that,
Hmm. Hmm.
it
Hmm.
does add value. And I know somewhere I'm conscious to take a step back and say, okay, I need to let them be and take their chance with whatever they are choosing to do. Yes,
Right,
that
right.
dynamics does play in with the parenting. I wouldn't say the parenting into the facilitation, but the facilitation into the parenting does play in a lot.
Right, right. Wonderful. Okay, I think we've covered many, all the things that I at least had in mind to, kind of, yeah, but I think one important thing I missed is, so somewhere in the value addition, Rekha, because of the experience and expertise that she comes from in the whole counseling facilitation space, uh, one very interesting day she said, I'm going to take a topic on empathy for these cohort. So the cohort members decide what are the topics they want to kind of engage in more from a personal development, professional development, like public speaking, and all those things keep happening. how do I communicate professionally, networking, all these things are happening on a weekly basis. One fine day, Rekha comes up with a topic that I want to do a session on empathy, which is very interesting. Like I was, surprised, like why empathy? And then it's like slowly as the cohort engaged and the whole session happened, which was a very interesting session. Somewhere they said empathy is so crucial because we are all social beings and we are going to be interacting with so many of our team members, and how this whole thing plays into their into the whole dynamics really, for them to have that reflection and for them to have that insight. I think that's where was the biggest value add. So give us some top like thoughts, Rekha, on how why empathy like just propped up in your value addition list, and how did you think through it?
Personally, for me, the emotional quotient has been always a topic of interest. I myself am deep diving into all those, and
Mm-hmm.
somewhere it has helped me to discover my own connections with myself,
Right,
and
right.
that has made a quite a bit of difference with the relationships that I share at home with my friends, with even with strangers for that matter. Somewhere
Mm,
I don't know if it is a strong belief or a belief that connecting to myself better is how I can connect better to others. And
absolutely.
as you told, being a social, I am in a social atmosphere, right? I have to deal with people. So understanding my own self and where I stand and how I can connect with the other person,
Yeah.
not in only times of need, but just as a human being, how can I connect to the other person?
At so many levels.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So that does a huge difference in how I see the world and how I deal with the world.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Yeah, and it's not just about being social, right? Even if there's that one team member, like none of us exist in isolation. So even it's if it is about that one person we are engaging at a professional, personal level every day, or at different points in our life, it like the whole emotional quotient, is so valuable in all those areas of our life. So thank you, Rekha. I think I had a great time just conversing and just recapping the last 3 months of our life, and seeing like where we had started and where we've all come so far. So thank you for sharing your insights and thoughts and experiences with us.
Thank you, Kirtika, for having me. It was nice to, for me, it was a reflection of where, as a cohort guide, where am I? Where do I stand in these 3 months? How I have been on this journey and how have I traveled? All that. It was a nice to reflect back.
Yeah, it was in a way, tracking our progress as guides, right?
Yes,
Like we were taking
yes,
cues as to where we are, where we've been, where
where
can
we've
we
been.
improve.
Yes,
Okay, lovely. So, we'll keep coming back with more such topics with parents, facilitators. Cohort will come after 2 months. They are, busy with their internships, volunteering opportunities, and so they are quite busy. We can't get in touch with them for these live sessions for the next 2 months. But of course, we have parents, so you'll get to hear a lot of perspectives and thoughts and sharing from parents who are part of CoVersity. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week soon. Bye. Bye, Rekha.
bye, bye, everyone. Thanks, Kirtika. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thanks.